Hi, this is Everett from Everett's Watercolors. Welcome to my classroom. Well, this is part 4 of the 4-part series on masking. And today I'm just going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to show you some other ways to mask out the painting to protect the color or protect the whites of the paper. But this was a blast because I've used some of these techniques on plein air. I use them in the studio, and some of them are just unique enough for you to really be interested in how I do it. So let's go over to my painting table. Let me demonstrate and show you what I can do. Okay, this part of the demonstration for masking is going to be a little wild because I'm going to do all kinds of different techniques here. For example, all kinds of tape. This is frog tape, which is a tape painters use to put over the walls before they paint. But they're good for artists also. And plain old masking tape. I got a couple rolls of that. I have a plain white candle, wax candle. A wax crayon, Crayola. I even have standard old Scotch tape. And also I have, here's another painter's tape. It's blue instead of green. And then I have the artist tape, which is good for mounting your art and so forth. It's also good for uses on blocking out an area for masking. So I got a pencil and a Sharpie and a pair of scissors. So let me just start into some areas here. I've already gone ahead and this is 140-pound Gemini paper. This is the back side. I've gone ahead and started. I put in a simple background to get started in some colors. And before I start, I want to put in some objects here, kind of plan out a little design here. And for example, over here, I think I'll put in a tree. I'll put the location there, the horizon line. I'm going to put somewhere along in this area. It'll be the horizon line. Those are two things. I mean, things you want to establish. I'm going to put some kind of a bush or a tree or something in here, and I'm going to put another larger tree in this section. So I'll mark that off. So I work on my design. This will be forward, so. To give us depth, this tree here is smaller and it's behind. This tree is larger and it's forward. And I'm going to put something over here, maybe a building or an old cabin or something like that. And then down here, I'm going to put in a rock or something like that down here, just to give me something different to paint. Okay, so I got a little design started here. Now I can put the tape on before I start painting. So the first thing I'd like to show you is using the Scotch, the masking tape. Now masking tape, I pulled a couple pieces off here, but what you can do with a masking tape, which is very interesting, and I found years ago, is you take it and you can tear it in half just by pulling it down. And what that does, it gives you a nice rough edge, which for something like a tree, let's put this over here and I'll mark the outside. So the inside of this tape, which is the rough edge, is going to be the outside edge of the tree, and then I'll put the other side of the tape over here. So that marks the large tree. I have another tree over here, so I'll put in some more tape over here. I tore the tape ahead of time on this one just to get it started. And this tree back here, a little bit in the middle ground. This tree is in the foreground. This tree is in the middle ground. And in the background, what I'm going to do here is use the crayon. Now you can come up with a stencil. This is just a design for a tree, and I use splatter in this, but I won't, not in this technique. I'm just going to show you just to put a shape in there. I'm going to put a shape in here. Now here I can measure how much of this background color I want. Do I want to have more yellow or do I want to have more red? I think what I'll do is I'll move this up so I have more red than yellow. I don't want to have half and half. Then I'll take the yellow the wax crayon, and I'll go ahead and fill in. Again, I don't have to get it perfect. I can go in and but this will mask off that area so I can paint around it. And just coat this wax in there. This wax will be a resist. Masking is really a resist, so we're going to resist the paint with the wax that's on the paper. And I can take the crayon now and go in, if I wanted to, go in and get the little small details if I wanted to get. And of course this is white, I can't see it once it's down there, so this outline gives me a little idea of where the space is. Okay, so that's in there. Now the rocks down here, what I'm going to use, let's see, I'll use the blue tape. Everything else is white, so I'll use a little bit of blue. So what I want to do here is I've drawn in a rough outline of a rock, or a bunch of rocks. So what I want to do here is I want to just protect the area behind the rocks. So what I'll do is block in the shape, and I can tear the tape any size I want. And just taping in and around the outline, just give me a rough shape here. And I can continue on to build my shape. Again, this gives you an idea of, say, even I use this in plein air. If I have a roll of tape and a painting, I'll block off a section, a tree or whatever, a building, and I can do this in plein air when I'm outdoors, and I can go continue on with my painting. Plain old masking tape, and go over here and put it on the area I want to protect. Then I can draw my design in here. And once I have it, I take my X-Acto knife. Pick off the outer edge. Now I'm going to look over my design here, the building and so forth. I look down here, this rock shape, and I see two parallel lines. So I'm going to change something. I'll make this a little different. This line and this line is parallel. So that's something I don't like. So I can change the shape just by pulling that tape off and then moving this down a little bit. So now that line is not parallel with that. So that's fine. It makes it a better looking shape. We'll take a pause here. I'll prepare my palette and we'll come back and paint. One thing I forgot as I was getting my palette out, I said, hey, I forgot using something else here. I want to get some smaller branches in here. What I can do here, remember I mentioned Scotch tape. So I can take the Scotch tape and I can go ahead and put that in there. Okay, I mixed up some dark colors over here, which I want to make. Let's start with the trees first. I mixed up a little bit of ultramarine blue, and a little bit of burnt sienna. Give me a dark brown. Now I'm going against the tape here. That gives me that rough edge. And then I drop in some darker color here to give a little texture. And for the little branches up there, it's just a matter of just putting in some ideas here, and I can fill in the gaps here later. And I can also work on this rock down here. Let's say rocks. Now over here around the building, let's work around a building over here. Around the building, I could put a little darker green maybe, because I'm out, the sun's coming through here. The sunlight's coming through here, but over here it's going to be a little bit out of focus with the sun. So here I'm going to paint out away from the mask. Now this little tree here we did in that. Remember I put the wax over the top of this center one here. I'm kind of interested to see how this one turns out. So we're in the area of the sunrise. This is kind of like a sunrise sky, you know. I'm going to use a little more color here. And you can see how that wax resists around that shape. And to see what the top of that is, I'll lighten up the color just a little bit. And along the horizon, I can show more shadows. Okay, while it's still wet, I can still take the paper off. So what I'm going to do here is take off this paper. You can see I've got an edge on that, and over here I've got an edge on this. And around the rock, I'll take that off. Now, this will be incomplete, but I'm just showing the, I'm not going to complete the complete painting. I'm just going to show the effect of the masking to save the color or to save the whites. Now what we can do now is kind of clean up a little bit here. I can go in and put some more darks in here. I don't want to destroy that edge because that edge is what I was trying to protect. Then we can take off the masking over here. And I can take a smaller brush there, and on the house or the building, I can go ahead and put in some shadows here. This might be the shadow side. And this little rock down here's got some rough edges on it, so you could rough it up a little bit by, putting some more. The overall, all this white paper can just be covered up with a little bit of paint. I use a little bit of yellow ochre here. Give a little texture, maybe a little ground texture, roughness. And the last thing, maybe the last little touch, and this is, don't have to go this far, but last little touch would be to add in some maybe a shadow pattern over here. It might be a the only other thing I want to add is maybe connect these limbs a little to this tree. So we'll bring this over here. Well, that was a lot of fun. I tell you, I really enjoyed that segment there. Using all the tapes I used to mask out the areas, came up with a really design just to kind of play around with the kind of tape I was going to use. That little bush turned out to be pretty good with the wax. I like that. I like the effect that happened there. As a demonstration painting, mainly just to show you how to mask out an area with tape or with wax, or with a crayon, or even with a Scotch tape. So it's all stuff you use in your studio. You can also use it in plein air. It becomes very effective. So I hope you enjoyed this series, and subscribe to my channel so you can stay informed of my next video. So I'll see you down the road. Bye for now.